Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this class, the Business English class from University of Dia Nusantara. We are on the ninth module or the ninth week of the session of the term. And today we're talking about basics of networking, which is the small talk. Before I talk about small talk, what do you know about networking? How important is networking? In business settings, networking is of essence, which means that it's very important for you to build a network because through this network you can get new clients, you can um, get acquainted with a new corporation, with new companies that can be your clients, or you just get an insights from new people. And the wider your network is in a business, field or in a business setting, the more valuable you are. So having a good network is very important. And for you to be able to know new people so that you get new network, you have to do what we call as small talk. So what is small talk actually? Let's say that small talk is a polite conversation about unimportant or uncontroversial matters, especially as engaged in on special occasions. Well, we do this small talk when we want to know someone, or maybe when we are waiting in line and then we want to kill the time by doing small talk, or maybe it's a social events. You know that some offices, they build this networking event, they have these social events. Also there are several clubs in Jakarta that is known as a place to build new network, especially with the high level high level managerial, yeah, high level management, I mean, or with the director board, something like that. And in these events, or maybe just in conference, we meet new people there. So making new small talk, making a small talk with someone that you don't know, it's important actually, because that way you can know them better, and after that you can exchange your business information, you can exchange your name card or your business card, and you can build a relation from there. So small talk is beyond, or it's not just polite conversation. And this polite conversation, it should be about unimportant, lightweight, and controversial matters. Okay, I will talk about these topics what topics that are considered controversial and what are not later. Okay, so talking more about small talk is very important in social and networking events. Yeah, and as I told you before, a good small talk can bring you to a bigger fish, to a bigger talk, like doing sales pitch to a potential client, for example, if you're from marketing department, if you're from sales department, or maybe if you're looking for a new opportunity, you can get in touch with people from a bigger company. So it's quite important nowadays. And people do small talk to break the uncomfortable silence. For example, you meet new people, you don't know anyone else in a conference or in a seminar. So to break a silence, so that you can get to know someone who sits beside you, or just to be polite with the people around you. And of course, to get to know new people to expand your networking. As I mentioned before, I will also talk about the safe and the unsafe topics for small talk. The safe topic for small talk. Let's start with the very cliche one, which is talking about weather. It's a very cliche, yet it's becoming a cliche for a reason, which is it's quite effective. Because talking about weather, it's very light, yeah, and you will not find any resistance talking about weather. Talking about current events, but remember, do not talk about controversial current events. What are the controversial current events? For example, political events, or maybe let's say nowadays in Indonesia we have the event, we have current issues, yeah, or that are quite sensitive, like maybe Kanjuruhan event, something like that, or maybe about Ferdi Sambo, that is quite controversial. Don't talk about that. Stay away from those issues, especially politics and religion. Or you can talk about sports. You can um, meet someone, and maybe you can guess that the person also likes sports like you. You can ask something like, "Hey, did you watch MU versus Liverpool last night?" Yeah, you can start from talking about sports, or maybe just as simple as, "What kind of sports do you like?" Or you can just say, "I really love playing tennis. What about you?" There are many things about sports that we can talk about. Or you can talk about entertainment, like the current hype thing in entertainment is the release of Wakanda Forever. Maybe you can talk about that. Have you watched Wakanda Forever? You know that I find it quite interesting. But remember, yeah, when you talk about movies, don't spoil the movie. Don't give spoiler about the movie. Or you can just make compliments to someone you talk to. Hey, there's a nice shirt. Yeah, something like that. So from that, you can have new conversations. Or you can just say, hey, I like your hair. And you can build new conversation from that. Yeah, the person will say, oh yeah, thanks. I've just went to a saloon last night, or I just went to I just go to a hairdresser, something like that. And maybe you can talk about the hairdresser, you can talk about saloon, you can talk about makeup, maybe if you're women, many things. So these are the safe topics for small talk. Remember, the rule of thumb when you choose a topic for small talk is always it's not controversial and it's not personal information. Because if they are, they will go to some topics, some issues that you should avoid. First, of course, controversial issues. Don't talk about politics, about religion, okay? Or something that needs people to think about. Talking about, I don't know, the politic in your country, that's too heavy. Yeah. Talking about ideology, talking about, for example, radicalism, that's not a small talk that you can make in a business event or in a social event. Always avoid talking about these items: politics, religion. Okay. Asking personal information. Okay, what can be considered as personal information? There are many things when we talk about personal information. It's not about um, it's not about address or phone number. That's not about it. It's actually about something more personal. For example, asking whether someone is single or not. That's too personal for a small talk. Yeah. You cannot use it to build a conversation that can be insulting, or maybe talking about someone's weight. That's also very rude. Talking about someone's physical appearance, especially the negative one. Yeah. Talking about religion, asking someone's religion. What's your religion? Or are you a Muslim? Are you a Christian? That's not something that is allowed for you to talk in professional settings. I understand that in Indonesia, it's not that controversial to ask someone's religion. But remember, when we talk about professional settings, it's different from when you're talking to your friends or when you're talking to people in your neighborhood. That's quite casual. So maybe it's okay, and especially if there are Indonesians. But if you're talking to native speakers, you're talking to foreigners, it's a big no to talk about that, about those items, those things. Asking about how many kids someone have, whether or not, or maybe if someone doesn't have, you know that someone doesn't have a kid, you ask about why don't you get a kid soon, yeah, or how long have you been together with your boyfriend or girlfriend, why don't you get married soon, something like that. Always avoid those nosy things. Talking about salaries, there's also personal, remember that. And also, of course, negative comments on anything, not only about the person you talk to, but about anything happening there. For example, you're giving negative comments um, about the speaker in a conference. No, don't do that, because you don't know the person. Who knows, the person that you talk to is actually a friend of the speaker, or maybe a husband or a wife of a speaker. So never use negative comments to start your small talk. Okay, so to sum up, here's what you need to do when you're doing a small talk. First of all, remember, you need to train, you need to practice doing a small talk. You need to make sure, if you want to start a small talk, it is something that's not controversial. Always use open-ended question, not a yes or no question, because with open-ended question, remember, the purpose of a small talk is for you to open a conversation, to build a conversation. Using a yes no question, that cannot build conversation. For example, you're asking, have you been to Bali? And then the answer will be yes. It will be awkward. And when you are answering to someone who tries to do a small talk with you, always make sure that you can build the conversation. Okay? For example, don't just use one liner, yeah? If someone asks you, hey, I'm from Bandung, where are you from? And then you just say, I'm from Jakarta, that's it. No, you cannot do that. Elaborate your answer, build a conversation. So you can do something like, um, I'm from Jakarta actually, but you know what? I just went to Bandung last week for a vacation. I really enjoyed it in Bandung. Where in Bandung do you live? Okay, so you reply it and then you make it into another open question, yeah, and then you can um, do more conversation about it, and maybe finally, yeah, after this you can introduce yourself. Well, anyway, I don't know you yet. My name is Zilal. What's your name? Something like that. So be polite. Don't say or talk about controversial things. Don't talk about personal things. Those are the rule terms that you need to think about when doing a small talk. Thank you.